Welcome back. Today I'm here with Aaron Spiliopoulos, who is from Raleigh and is an ECU student, but that's not the story here, right? So the story is that you are on Team Israel's bobsled team, right? So kind of talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the journey kind of started in 2021. Kind of at the end of COVID and everything, tried out for the team, was invited back to be a push athlete, and then kind of made my transition into being a pilot after that. Fell in love with driving the sled rather than just pushing it, and now I'm on my stint to hopefully make the next Winter Olympics in Milan.
Wow, fantastic. So how did you get into bobsledding?
Yeah, so there was a guy training in Raleigh, the former pilot and everything, and then we just kind of got put in touch together. We started talking. I flew out to Korea, tried out for the team, ended up falling in love with the sport and being pretty decent at it at the time, and then kind of worked on my overall athleticism and strength, and just kept pushing.
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what motivates you?
Yeah, so I think the big thing that motivates me is representing Israel in a sport where there is underrepresentation for it. Israel gave my family a home on both sides of my mom, my dad, after the war and everything. It's such an honor and a privilege to wear the Magen David on my back while I slide and everything. Just kind of setting a good example for Jewish youth athletes.
Yeah, so specifically, what is your connection to Israel?
So my father is from there, but after the Holocaust, on both sides, from my mom's side and my dad's side, people moved there and resettled back when the world didn't really want to claim any of the Jews after the war. Right,
yeah. So back kind of into bobsledding, what does a typical day look like for a bobsled athlete? Maybe in season, right now you're in off season.
Yeah, so off season's pretty simple. It's just kind of like training, staying on top of my nutrition, and then going to do push training occasionally. But then during the season, it's long days. It's up at 5 a.m. to go ahead and take care of the sled, and then go ahead and do my track walks and everything, see how the ice changed overnight, just because of the precipitation, the weather changes, the sun. Got to make sure that every corner is how we need it to be.
Right.
And then from there, start warming up, moving sleds and everything, and then it's sliding. So it's about 4 hours of work for a total of 2 to 3 minutes of sliding a day. And then at the end of all that, we got to do equipment checks and then go hit a lift or go hit a sprint afterwards in order to just make sure we're staying in shape.
That is great. So where have you already trained and raced?
Right, so I've trained in Korea and France, and then I've raced in Canada, Utah, New York, and Switzerland.
Wow. Okay, so you are a pilot.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the difference in the bobsled world, the difference between a pilot and a push?
So the push usually starts at the back or the side, depending on if it's a 2-man or 4-man event, and then the pilot will start typically closer to the front of the sled on the pilot bar, push and then jump in. It's a real acrobatic stunt.
Yeah.
Getting into the sled, closing the pilot bar, and then we have to guide the sled down the track.
Wow. So how do you recruit push athletes?
Mostly through social media. It's a lot of Instagram game, which is like the LinkedIn for athletes nowadays.
Yeah.
So just finding people's posts and everything, finding Israeli athletes, reaching out to them, and just kind of convincing them to give me a big push.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
So we understand that bobsledding is not funded by the government. So how do you receive funding?
So it's a lot of small sponsors, family, friends, and everything. We're currently looking for bigger sponsors, but for the most part, we do pay for it ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah, so mostly self-funded.
How much could that cost?
Yeah, so last season cost around like $30,000 in total. Without a sled purchase, I did have to buy a sled. This year, I'm looking to buy a new sled, which will hopefully give us a better chance of qualifying for the next Olympics, and those cost about a car, so around like 40 grand.
Right, yeah, a lot. So
yeah.
How do you qualify for the Olympics?
So during the 2025-2026 season, it'll be just a regular season for us. It's what we call our Olympic trials. We will be competing for the top 28 spots in the combined ranking of 2-man and 4-man events.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
Aaron, it's so nice to meet you, and I wish you so much luck.
Thank you.
And that is all the time that we have for now, but don't go anywhere because we'll have more ENC at 3 right after the break.